Happy New Year! Thanks for all the support over the years, it means the world to me. Enjoy this compilation and of course, stay sufficiently hydrated at all times. I then run behind this girl for a moment. The only thing better than booty is virtual booty, and anyone who disagrees has an active sex life. Nathan wants to sneak out of the orphanage and meet his brother, but a nun and a priest block his path. I overhear them talking about me, and the priest doesn't even say I look cute. You turn 11 and suddenly it's like you don't exist. We stumble across a small grave that must be for a child. There's nothing sadder than a dead child, except maybe 2 dead children or a grown man uploading gaming videos to the internet. Or 3 dead children. I proceed to go and dominate a bunch of kids that are clearly a lot younger than I am. For my next duel, I think I'll take on a retired MMA fighter who doesn't know how to use magic. Like the video if this fancy water fountain inspires you to drink some of God's precious nectar so you're happy and hydrated. I run over to this taxi and out hops what is either an adorable little man or a very hairy child. Either way, I'm really hard to buy presents for. I'm playing the definitive edition, which definitely looks slightly better than the original, but emphasis on slightly. It's like when a fat girl wears makeup. Definitely better, but still fat. God, I love miners. Mine workers are also great. Black guy, paraplegic, and a woman. Hitting the diversity quota in one cutscene is quite impressive. It turns out it's super easy to sneak into 1899 America, if you're white. I find a locked box, but it needs a code. I input the phrase boobs with 3 O's, but it doesn't work because the game developers clearly don't have the same sophisticated sense of humor as the Modest Pelican community. Apparently they fixed the police in this game to make them even more realistic, but I'm just not seeing it. Like not even a cheeky little random cavity search or a quick beatdown with a nightstick, my immersion is shattered. I see some geezer in a top hat and he begins choking on a bread roll. There's a prompt to help him, but instead I just watch and pretend he's choking on my little dick. I walk into my sleeping quarters and Stealth-O-Mato is just lying there looking really cute. Wow, it's like all my prayers were answered at once. I mean, I start another new heist. I run past the Whomping Willow from Harry Potter. Imagine if you put one of those branches up your ass. I mean, I graciously leap but misjudge the distance and fall to my death. Wow. Ellie and Joel begin working as a team as their bond slowly grows. Just a man in his 50s and a 14-year-old girl. Nothing could ruin this relationship. Not puberty, and definitely not 18 rounds of golf. I've never been a fan of poker because I had a brief stage in my life where I lost a lot of money gambling. My mum even bought me a book about gambling addiction, so I gave up reading. I stumble across this kid skipping stones and complaining about this girl that doesn't like him. And that's crazy. Women usually get super moist for depressed redheads in overalls who escape their real life issues by crying next to a river. Dutch proceeds to violently choke the woman until she dies. We just watch on and do nothing. I guess this is how Tristan Tate feels. I see some child labour. My heart says it's wrong, but the Air Jordans in my cupboard say I love affordable footwear. I could be very persuasive. I once went to a feminist rally and came back an hour later with my laundry washed and folded. I proceed to get speared through the heart. Not metaphorically, like when my girlfriend said Clash of Clans was a dumb game. Plus, who's laughing now? I'm Town Hall level 10, while she doesn't even have a town hall. What a loser. I find the farm and meet the 2 owners of the property. What a busty, thick, delicious snack. She's cute too. And I'll tell you what surprised me most about this game. The combat is so fun. I don't know why, but I wasn't expecting it to be this good. Maybe it's because nothing has ever lived up to PS1 Harry Potter.
I'm gonna drag you to Hogwarts. You get a wand, you get an owl that'll deliver you a shitey meal, and that'll be that and you'll enjoy it.
I find the kids incredibly quickly. I'm better at finding kids than a Catholic priest holding a heartbeat sensor and a bag of gummy snakes. I reach the cell and look behind a stone to find a gold cross. What Nathan really needed to find was a cuticle care kit, Jesus Christ. I always wonder what would have happened if I'd gone down the Fortnite career path. I think I'd be rich but dead inside. Now I'm just dead inside. I try to execute the crying child, but the game won't let me, which makes sense. Saints Row 2 is a great game, even when you consider it released in 2008. If Saints Row 2 was a person, it would be 15 years old, meaning you could legally lay with it. In Costa Rica. I work my way through the Haitian mob soldiers with ease. They almost all face the exact opposite direction of where I'm coming from, just like when I used to try and pick up girls in bars. Unlike the girls, this lot will actually be tomorrow. The game says I'm getting chubby. I recruit 2 fatter gang members to roll with me so that by comparison I look skinny. I do a similar thing when I'm sleeping with a girl. I scatter tiny sugar bananas all around my room. I swim towards an island and a shark begins to circle. Last week I saw on the news that the Australian Coast Guard were out protecting our border and a great white shark snuck up on their boat and circled them. They didn't shoot it though. It wasn't a great black shark. Logan makes his way towards me with the aura of Shakira. Seriously, I don't know if I want to kill him or give him back shots. Those swinging hips are making Agent 47 question things. UFC fighters have the exact same weakness as orphans. A full clip of an assault rifle to the face. And back to America, and the invasion continues. Commercial planes are literally dropping out of the sky and falling onto people's homes. Like the video if you've ever survived a commercial plane crash, and tell us your experience in one sentence. My ex was a piñata because I needed a blindfold before I hit that. At a Trump rally, you might see someone get shot in the ear, but at a Clinton rally, you're more likely to see a woman get shot in the eye with Bill's load. Cleansing graveyards is one of the key gameplay mechanics, but most importantly, it gives me a chance to do a church review. Blackwater Church has an inspired rural charm to it. There's ample benches to sit on, a tasteful wooden cross on display, but the feng shui is off as there is no lectern for the pastor to bend kids over, put his notes. We make our way to the one thing every man wants but is too scared to ask their girlfriends for. On my way back to the cave, I notice a stranger. He's trying to hunt a grizzly bear, and I figure this is an important moment for him and he should do it himself. If I ever have kids, I'm not helping them with anything. Breast milk? More like nepotism. The only thing more deadly than a Call of Duty throwing knife to the leg is being an unborn fetus inside a woman with short blue hair. I load in, and Arthur is gazing out into the distance, pondering life's biggest mysteries. He's probably wondering what girls do in the bathroom. Like, why is the line to the girls' bathroom always so long? Do they all have coke problems? Is it IBS? I guess the only way to find out is just to walk in and see for myself, as it's 2024, so who would dare stop me? I gracefully leap from the aircraft, which is probably one of the most elegant things you'll ever see in your life, but it was a little selfish as I was the pilot. I guess I've just always been into taking risks. I used to sniff my best mate's sister's panties. I probably should have waited until she took them off. Honestly, it was an awkward funeral. It's KSI trapped in a cage. I walk over to him and he asks me for help. He says Logan has locked him in here and has been torturing him. He's been electrocuting the cell and making KSI listen to his own music. Logan keeps him here and forces him to collaborate on crime hydration commercials and manipulate kids. It all makes sense now. And KSI says all he wants to do is be free so he can play some Among Us with the Sidemen and then drop a British hip-hop gangster rap banger. Staying at this tropical resort is also Ava Chris Tyson and Dr. Disrespect. These two share the same crime that is no surprise. Let's just say they inappropriately message minors in search of underage love because that's what they did. Put it this way, picture your favorite YouTuber. They're a pedo. Unless you pictured me. My girlfriend is 23 and it's been an amazing relationship. Best 10 years of my life. It's now time for our big moment. I haven't been this nervous for a date since I asked out this lass called Fiona and she's like, yeah, pick me up at 6. I knock on the door and her dad answers and wants me to spend some time with him first. He full on sits me down on the couch and he tells me all his rules and conditions for the night. It was intense. We finally head out for an honestly beautiful candlelit dinner, followed by a sunset walk around the lake. It was a special night. The evening went so well that we head back to my place and it got a little hot and steamy. We proceed to make sweet tender love for a couple of hours and then afterwards we stand naked opposite each other and he puts his hand on my shoulder and says, "Alright son, you have my blessing to take Fiona out." I actually started to write a book on fish, but it got too hard. I should have used paper. In a few years, this channel is just going to be bulimia and dad jokes. I can't wait. I bartended for years when I was at university, and this one night I was running a 21st birthday party. This very mature looking girl kept smiling at me, and I was like, alright, she's into me. Then she says something about school, and I'm like, wait, how old are you? And she comes clean and says she's been lying to me and she's actually 17. I then realized half the people at this function were underage and I'd been serving them all alcohol. Honestly, I wasn't a great bartender, but I dodged the bigger bullet. I was an hour away from becoming a Minecraft YouTuber. I'm in this helicopter on my way to an island where people keep going missing. My character immediately pulls back his sleeve to reveal a tattoo that says, "Fight demons." So cool and edgy. The chopper begins spiraling out of control because I guess the pilot also saw the tattoo and decided he wanted to die. I'm thrown from the aircraft and land on my back, which is obviously the safest way to land. Plus there was like 4 inches of snow, which my therapist says is plenty. I try to brutally murder everyone, but you can't attack innocent people, which was probably a good shout by the developers. I then go for a risky choke, which most girls like, but when they don't, you kind of come across like a serial killer. The Cybertruck. With an unmatched aura that's known to dry up the uterus of even the most fertile women. Besides arguably any other vehicle, what's cooler than a Cybertruck? The slick Minecraft-inspired aesthetic isn't just designed to dry up panties. Thanks to an impressive feat of engineering, the Cybertruck can tow loads of up to 13.5 kilograms. Enjoy constantly worrying about where the next recharge station is as you enjoy the generous 1 hour and 15-minute battery life. The rigid body of the Cybertruck has made crumple zones completely obsolete. Instead of the force being absorbed by the crushing metal, all of the energy from the crash will be passed on to the family inside. Even a 40km/h crash will catapult the driver and their loved ones out the front windshield all the way to Valentine. Now disguised as the real estate agent, I head over to Trump and offer to show him the property. He willingly follows me because despite Hitman resembling a cyborg, having a barcode tattooed on his head, and about 15 minutes ago throwing a fish at him, he's not suspicious at all because 47 is white. I ride for my next mission and tell me this game doesn't have a cool environment. People hanging from train bridges. These guys weren't actually hung by evil people. These people hung themselves after watching Jojo Siwa's latest music video. I figure as cats are sacred, they're probably immune to arrows, but I'm immediately proven wrong. Killing a cat in ancient Egypt is like calling someone champ in Australia. Utterly disgusting and sacrilegious. I used to go to school with this bloke who'd say good morning to every single person in the grade every day because he thought it would impress girls. He liked this one girl in particular. Let's call her Emma because, well, that's her real name. He asked me for advice and I was like, bro, just chill out a little bit and tell her how you feel. He immediately walks up to her and asks her on a date, but not to the movies or on a picnic. He asks her to Bible study. Nothing like reading a few passages from the book of Leviticus and then listening to Christian rock while you finger blast in the church car park. She said no thanks buddy, which was one of the more brutal things I've ever witnessed, and now he's an alcoholic. Wow. I walk into a pump class and see a lass with an eye-catching booty. Younger Pelican would have pointed a gun at that ass, taken a screenshot, and captured a truly refined thumbnail. Not now though, I've grown. Now I clickbait the murder of popular YouTubers like an intellectual. I say g'day to ex-Australian Prime Minister John Howard, and then Dr. Disrespect comes in and starts doing pull-ups. It's fascinating how we all stay strong for different reasons. Mr. Beast pulls people out of poverty. I pull out the plug after I've had a bubble bath, and Dr. Disrespect pulls students out of class early so he can give them a little playground smooch. Fitz proceeds to take a nasty fall down the elevator and then I exit the building. It's here I run into a dear old friend, the big bad Douglas Stone.
So do I think it is. Thick man, it's been a while.
How are you, mate? Good to see you. My friend's just fallen down the escalator and died. Do you reckon he can give us a hand?
Yeah, man, I'm qualified in first aid.
Oh, of course you are. Thanks, mate. The medical staff eventually arrive, but it seems they've been hitting the pharmaceuticals a little too hard. While we do everything except actually receive medical attention, a gangster rocks up in a blacked out Lamborghini. I decide to steal it as a tasteful little practical joke, but he doesn't find it very amusing.
Do it. Don't stomp on it.
He hits me across the jaw, he then blindsides Swagger and beats him half to death with a baseball bat. He left us no choice.
Look at my mate, you dog! You dog!
Yeah, dog! Yeah, dog!
Yeah, dog!
Right,
It starts off with us in bed with our wife. A zombie comes in and John's like, I'll go get my gun, which I keep outside for some reason. You wait here with the hungry little zombie. My braless wife proceeds to get bitten by the undead farmer. Maybe immediately abandoning my family wasn't the best way to handle the situation. I execute the zombie and then my sookie son runs over, crying by my wife's side. She bites him and suddenly my whole family is infected. My wife chases me around for a while. I proceed to tie her up for the second time tonight. My son then begins chasing me around and so I tie him up for the second time tonight too. The joke is less funny when it's about a child. Keanu Reeves. Who doesn't want to have sex with John Wick? Shit, I'd bang him just for the story to tell the boys. I take some mystery pills which let Keanu take control of my body and it all kicks off. He begins by getting absolutely belted on whiskey. Like an excessive amount of whiskey. Girls love it when you can't get it up. I then head outside and an Asian honey gives me a little smooch which is equally as promising as it is uncomfortable. I go to open the car door for her. I give her some chivalry, so hopefully she can give me some chlamydia. We start driving and old Keanu gets a little frisky with his hands and proceeds to crash the car. She's dead, but she consented before she died. Every time I walk into a locker room, I remember all the times I had to get changed in high school and was mercilessly bullied. Everybody called me Three-Leg Jeff and used to say, oh boy, I bet that thing gives him back pain. I proceed to execute the only guard in here with my silenced submachine gun. I bust open the locker room and find a banana. Wow, really funny guys. I wish I had a regular sized banana. Why am I always being taunted for being way above average? This game gives me PTSD. When I was younger, I was dating this little minx and I was having dinner at her place. Her dad was a military guy and he was grilling me so unbelievably hard for a first meeting. His wife was trying to act like Switzerland and keep the peace, but he was relentless. He was ranting. So you don't have a car, you don't have a job, you're not studying. What do you see in this man? So I responded, if it's not my car, my job, or my money, it can really only be one other thing. I glanced at my crotch. He shut up for the rest of dinner. It felt great that my girl's family thought I had a huge dick when only we knew the truth. Bang average. If the lighting's good and if I give it a cheeky pre-game slap. I decide that I might as well become a taxi driver for a moment. I pick up my first fare and she hops into the cab and is like, "Hey, sorry, I forgot my wallet." And CJ's like, "That's okay, love. Why don't I pull over here and we can sort out another arrangement?" And the girl's like, "You cheeky bastard." No one quite tells stories as compelling as Fake Taxi. The character arcs are always impeccable. I then go and actually pick up a hooker though. I briefly consummate the relationship, but then I have to pay her. It's clear this little NPC doesn't understand how taxis work, as I'm the one who's meant to be paid. It's weird how nostalgic it is for me watching a low poly hooker get run over repeatedly. I actually had the best interaction with a viewer this week. I was walking home during peak hour traffic and this absolute Chad with a thick mullet stops in the middle of the road, winds down the window of his ute and yells out, "Pelican, what's up you motherfucker?" People are beeping their horns, but we proceed to have this wholesome 25-second encounter in the middle of traffic. All of a sudden the honking stopped, time stood still, we locked eyes and kissed. I follow him over to some rocks where he undoes his pants and takes a leak. I take a gander at his crotch region and realise there's nothing there. I play Hitman games because they're immersive, and seeing a male NPC without a thick pecker completely shatters my gameplay experience. My mate Al used to drive a hatchback similar to this one when we were younger. He was the only one with a car, and so we all had to kind of share it. We called it Bless the Rain Down in Al's New Car because if a girl you knew saw you driving it, she'd be drier than the Sahara Desert. I head to Dr. Disrespect's private island and look for a chink in his armour. We'll have to be careful though because the doc's always a few moves ahead. Never forget, he's playing chess, we're playing checkers. He's not just a few moves ahead though, he's a few years ahead. In 36 short months, the minors he messaged will be 18. We're so dumb, he's so smart, it was a classic reputation gambit. I fall to the ground and enter Fury mode. The Fury mode is basically what you get when you take a tradie, give him 8 beers, and then tell him a new vegan cafe is opening in his neighbourhood. I proceed to absolutely murder like 20 zombies.
Everybody up against the wall! Everybody up against the wall!
I give my life for Pakistan! I once chugged 28 beers in a row, and when I needed to spew, I hiked up 47 flights of stairs in flip-flops because the only bathroom open was a breakfast bar on the top level of a hotel whose elevators were under maintenance. Once I was done chundering, I walked out, got myself an eggs Benny, smashed a Barocca, and then shagged the barista all before 11 AM. That story's not true, but Trump taught me you can just say whatever you want as long as you're confident. In the morning, I make a strange discovery. Mary Beth is pretending to read a book. She's turning the page every 3 seconds, which is a comically short amount of time. I mean, is it a short time? Maybe 3 seconds is a fine amount of time and could be seen as a compliment in some settings. I had a pretty good time at university in Australia. I studied accounting, which meant that I actually became a minority. In my first year tutorial, it was all Indians and Asians. We got put into group assignments and it's me and these 3 Indian lads, and honestly, Indians have the craziest humour. One of my mates died, which is obviously very sad, and when I came back to study, my group gave me a box of tissues and a mug that had a picture of a small violin on it. They then changed my nickname in the group chat to One Dead Friend. We push forward and I catch this cheeky little white Russian raiding the fridge. This was a massive wide-scale invasion, you'd think he'd carb load beforehand. I guess he's just never seen a fridge with food in it before.
So you guys are not from America?
No, from London.
Yes, London. London Bridge is falling down. All these fucking Range Rovers, get the road.
Jesus.
Oh, sorry, sir.
I'm not sure which accent. We gotta go back and get swags as well. We just left him.
Oh, okay, all right.
In the 1950s, physical harassment is fun and silly. When I was a kid growing up, my parents were incredibly neglectful. One cold, frosty winter's day, I finally built up the courage to ask my mum for a PlayStation, and she said, "No, you already have an Xbox." Literal child abuse. I go about repotting a mandrake, which is a type of plant that screams relentlessly when it's exposed. My sister just had a baby, and I would honestly love to bury him in some soil. I walk inside the hotel and there isn't anyone here, no staff at all. Maybe if we softened immigration a little bit, we'd solve the current employment crisis. I proceed to kill them all. When I say them all, I'm using inclusive phrasing, but if you found that statement offensive, let me know in the comments and I'll delete this video in apology, then my channel, and then I'll hang myself.
Mate, have you ever taken a shit? Like, have you ever been that pissed in a nightclub you've just shat
No,
on the floor?
no.
Today's the day.
Alright man, I'm ready, I'm here for it. I'm sorry.
You ready? Watch this, yeah? I've been holding this all day. You ready? Have a look. You ready?
I thought you were gonna
Watch
say you had
this.
another job for us or something.
Look at that.
What are you doing, mate?
That's
What?
coming up.
Jesus. I've always found that you can find rich stories in art that mirror your own personal experiences. Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, the moment she realizes it's much smaller than she expected. A Mayan global tribal mask, my face when I nut. Edvard Munch the Scream, her face when I say I never actually got around to getting tested after that Thailand trip. Bill has also set up explosive traps, so we're relatively protected. I attempt to push Ellie into one of the tripwires, but she doesn't allow it. I even use guerrilla-style tactics, but she's less fazed by the explosion than a Syrian property developer. We head over to a stand-up comedy club. The comedian proceeds to make a bunch of sexual innuendos and gay jokes. Imagine making a living off doing that, what a fucking loser. Arthur reflects on life's biggest mysteries. If Eminem's mum released her own spaghetti sauce, would it do numbers? Has Arthur just infected the entire gang with tuberculosis? Is it gay that Javier and Arthur cuddled a lot while on Guama to keep warm? Both men and women can make love to a Pringles can, but will either enjoy it. Maybe Javier and Arthur had several tropical smooches too, but it was lonely back there. Does anyone actually like J.K. Rowling? It would be weird if we repeatedly yelled out, "Yo, anyone want to have sex?" But birds do it all day. How do Amish babes know if it's a romantic candlelit dinner or just a normal dinner? Look, okay, Arthur and Javier made passionate love regularly, but it was a long 3.5 days and they're planning to cut right back now they're in America. I load in and get ready to game. Blood pumping through every vein in my body. Yes, every vein. I charge into battle like a Mongolian 12th century horse archer, hoping to impress Genghis Khan so I can cop some of the big dog's sloppy seconds. I violently die. I run that same route, eager to learn from my mistake, and I die. I proceed to charge in again, ready to play the objective with my pals, and a Semtex grenade explodes and I die. I hear an enemy stomping around, so I pre-ADS and spray absolutely everywhere, failing to secure the kill, and I die. I realize I'm playing the game all wrong. I sit up straight in my $1,600 gaming chair, smash a glass of fresh chilled water, channel my inner teenage sweat lord, and begin ignoring the objective. Instead, I camp my little dick off, racking up kills with ease. I'm not even above full-blown corner camping if it means getting an inch closer to that juicy kill streak. I stroll over to the park and see Kamala Harris out and about actually campaigning and trying to win votes, which is quite a shock. Who knew to achieve a healthy work-life balance, all you had to do was become the vice president and then run for office? I have a yarn with her and she tells me about her exciting new policy where mothers will be able to get an abortion for up to 72 months after the baby is born. It's time to head out. Just two bros riding off on a hunting trip into the deep wilderness where not even Jesus himself could hear a man moan. I mean a bear roar. The real reason I spent all my money on this place is this arcade machine where you play as a little horse that has to jump over things and eat apples. I was planning on playing this for 5 minutes max, but then I get a text message saying that if I break into the top 5 high scores, I win a mystery prize. I have to know. I proceed to invest literally 2.5 hours into this game. You go through all these different biomes. The timing worked out really well because my older sister called and she was yapping for days, so it was a healthy distraction. Her son just turned 3 years old and she won't shut up about it. I meant to act all impressed that he doesn't shit his pants anymore when I haven't shat my pants in weeks. I finished third and get 1,800 credits, which was not worth it. The other day my mate's car broke down and I had to help him out. I was the one pushing and I pushed too hard and strained my back, and then I stood up suddenly, which caused me to stumble over to the driver's seat, sit in his lap and kiss him on the lips, and then we made passionate love for 4.5 hours. It's crazy how hard it is to push start cars. Arthur takes his final form as I continue down one of the most random tangents I've ever included on this YouTube channel. It's time to settle the score once and for all. I get down on my knees and blow Elon. Kidding, I fight. Elon versus Elon. The fight finally ends as Arthur defeats Elon Musk Prime, finally putting an end to the absolute madness that is the Cybertruck. Arthur proceeds to slash Elon's corpse with a machete, and then he ascends upwards towards space. Arthur Morgan is no longer a cowboy. He is now Prime Elon. I remember when I learned about revenge. Back in the day, this older kid at school used to bully me every day. My mum sat me down and told me the best revenge would be to succeed in life. I ignored her advice, and every day I'd get a bathroom pass and fill up his bag with water during class. I once pretended to be gay to sneak into an all-girls sleepover to try and get lucky. The wheels came off when they brought their other actual gay friend I'd never met along too. 9 years later, I'm married to him with our 3 adopted kids, cover still intact. I line the big girl up and give the trigger a squeeze like it was a miner's butt and I was Bill Gates. You know he visited Jeffrey Epstein's island 37 times? There's only one reason you visit a remote island 37 times, and it's not for champagne brunches with the homies. And plus, what about Epstein hanging himself and the CCTV footage being deleted at that exact moment because he was going to testify? Kind of weird, right? We all just made a few jokes and moved on. Anyway, let's move on. As I walk in, I see this guy robbing the place. Oh wait, no, he's just a patron, my bad. I head into the girls' bathroom again for some reason. I then pull out my camera and start filming, and just like that I'm Dr. Disrespect. They say become your enemies. I'm now deep in the mind of the doc. Except I add an elegant Amora filter when I film people in the bathroom because I have taste. I drive over to Big Smoke's house to do a mission, and my homie just runs off into the distance with purpose. I decide to follow him on his jog, and the big man came all the way out here to pull a baller out of his car and kill him. I wish I could be as motivated as this king. For every like this video gets, I'll spend 1 minute in Compton wearing a red and blue Hillary Clinton t-shirt. It's time to do what all young, strong, independent women do to get rich quickly. Start an intergalactic, cross-species OnlyFans, get a job. The boys and I land at the airport. Look at this shot of me departing the flight. That's some high production quality right there, but don't get used to it. We exit the airport ready for a new chapter. Our first step is finding ourselves a taxi. Yeah, hail this one down.
Hey, taxi, taxi. That's not how you hail a taxi in the United States, mate. You've got to be a bit more aggressive. Hey! All right, boys, get in.
Due to unforeseen circumstances, Swagger Souls died brutally. This reminds me of when I used to follow this young girl home every day from a distance. I used to watch her from afar and even sometimes offer to elevate her position in the entertainment industry if she sucked my dick. Oh sorry, that wasn't me, that was Drake. My bad, I'm a silly goose. I head to my next lesson, or rather I sprint. Papa Smokes is one fast, athletic lad. It's probably because his black magic fascination motivates him to train his cardiovascular health regularly so his brain stays switched on. This guy hoses off my equipment for me for a long time. I haven't seen this much water wasted since I stopped taking showers with my mate Marto. These gulags are known to be some of the worst, most horrible, heinous prisons in the world. They say it's better to die than be locked up here. That's why they only give their prisoners 3 TVs each. Just when all hope seems lost, another girl called Rogue hits us up and she wants some help with a mission. She's no Panam, but at the end of the day, it's like I always say, if you shoot your shot enough times, you'll probably end up rimming a few threes. We work through any weather the game throws at us, but then the 3-legged girl returns. The weird 4-legged girl's back.
Dude, what is up with her? Let's.
What do you want to do? Yeah, she's kind of thick.
So weird, man.
I'm gonna follow her, man. She's so mesmerizing.
And don't chase a woman through the woods, Jeff. It's not a good look.
When she's got an ass like that, man, what choice do I have?
Jeff, quick! Quick, I'm dying, Jeff! Quick!
What? Really? I'm coming.
No, I just want you to hurry.
When I was a kid, I lived next to a golf course, and the boys and I built this base hidden in some bushes right near the 16th hole. It was some high-tier engineering. We stuck leaves and branches onto wooden panels of the base. You couldn't see us at all. It was straight out of the Vietnam War. The golfers couldn't quite see the green from the tee-off, and so when they'd hit their balls over the ridge, we'd steal them. It highly amused us watching them look around for ages like idiots. Even funnier was taking their balls and putting them in the hole. They'd search around for a while and then eventually look in there and think they got a hole in one. They'd cheer and be so happy. We were the bloody Make-A-Wish Foundation for middle-aged white guys with dying marriages. Jokes aside though, I like my women like I like my golf game. In the mid-70s with a slight handicap. The guards collapse on my position as I'm trapped on the church roof like a suicidal priest whose browser history just got leaked. I open the settings and turn my sensitivity to 1,000,000 and then attempt to execute a trick shot that would make even my mate Mario proud. Anyway, these guys have horses, which is swell, as contrary to popular belief, horses use absolutely no petroleum. I greet the steed the same way Middle Eastern men greet women in nightclubs. I pick up Stealtho Marto from the beach and he shoots a firework launcher at my chopper. It wouldn't be the first time Marto exploded all over me. It's now time to pick up Crosby 7885. Our targets today are Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Donald Trump. These assassinations will have to be fast to ensure we get credited with the kill, as some of these targets might die of old age before we get to them, and some may take their own lives if the Epstein or Diddy list releases. I'll tell you guys something quite strange about me. I have Mullis domesticophobia, which is a fear of apples. Like if someone eats one in front of me, I get physically sick and I get goosebumps all over my body. It's so weird. On one of my first dates with Anna, she ate an apple in front of me and I asked her to stop, but she didn't, so I slapped it out of her hand. Sounds like I'm joking, but I hate apples almost as much as I hate black people suffering. While riding back to camp, something truly horrifying happens. My horse hits an American white pelican and the majestic creature dies on impact. I don't cry often, but this has to be one of gaming's top 15 saddest moments. I put the bird in a canoe and prepare a second traditional Viking funeral. This time I even learn how to craft fire arrows so it's more legit, as pelicans deserve the best. Suddenly the young girl who we've been caring for is caring for us. It's a beautiful moment in the story as the balance shifts. Ellie guns down anyone who could be a threat. A troubled 14-year-old shooting people in a school, and for once it's beautiful. I climb out of the drain like I was the 5th Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Vincent Van Pooh. That is such a bad joke, I'm sorry. I promise you will never see a woman throw rocks into water, or give birth without moaning about it. Like, we get it, you brought new life into the world, do you want a medal? You won a baby, not the Rocket League Las Vegas Esports Invitational. Call me when you reach level 99 agility in RuneScape, or hit an ace with the Scout on Counter-Strike. Not when your whiny 3-month-old who can't even hold a conversation opens his eyes for 5 minutes. It's hard to game when you're uncontrollably crying in fear. I mean, I'm a grown man, I don't cry. I bottle my emotions up for months, if not years, until one day the pain becomes too much and I lash out and just start relentlessly beating my girlfriend. In volleyball. Then I see Logan Paul and he is looking zesty. Bro's hips are swinging with purpose. I guess suing anyone who says a mean thing about you makes you pretty sassy. I've said it before, but I'm in full support and actively encourage child labour, but not when I'm the child. It's crazy that somewhere out there, hundreds of millions of young white men who don't have sex are in a garage passing a bong around, making the stunning and brave decision to start a podcast. I grab myself a champagne flute and then go and offer 2 women a champagne top-up for some reason. Nothing impresses girls like becoming the help. Do they ask Arthur some personal questions to form a connection? No, they walk away immediately. Arthur has less game than a Call of Duty campaign. The sign says straight men not welcome, which is just the kind of classic discrimination I face every day. The other day I got asked to leave a public library in 2024. I was so shocked I put my pants back on, closed my 14p hub tabs, and cried my way to the exit. We kill 1,000 zombies, but then the train tracks have been barricaded. There was a zombie playing violin, yet the most unbelievable part of this game is that the Mexicans built a wall. Agent 47, the man who hides in plain sight, assassinating targets around the globe. He has no noticeable physical characteristics which make blending in easy, besides a giant barcode on his head. Also, he's built like a Terminator and has the soulless facial expression of someone who drowned an entire family for a $25 food stamp. But then he puts on this cute little cook's assistant outfit and suddenly no one suspects that the jacked possible cyborg might be responsible for the absolute atrocities that follow him wherever he goes. The ship's pretty cool. It's got 1 bed, so when we get a crew, we'll all have to cuddle up together. Hopefully it's an all-male crew of miners. I take off into space and am immediately engaged by more pirates, but I take them out because I'm built different. I'm stronger than Lizzo's bed frame, faster than a boy on prom night, and sneakier than even the most covert of stepdads. My favourite Star Wars memory was when this girl said she was going to gargle on my lightsaber like she was Chewbacca. No, that never happened, but I did hug Chewbacca the other day at Disneyland. There he is. One of the nicest hugs I've had in my entire life. He was so big, soft, and friendly. I've surprisingly been in a fashion show before. I borrowed a suit off my stylish European mate and I went to the horse races. I got asked if I wanted to be in the best dressed competition and I thought, why the hell not? I proceeded to drink heavily for the next 4 hours, and when the show started, I got up on the catwalk and began air humping in the direction of the 3 judges. I believe I pointed at a female judge while yee-hawing like a cowboy. I was escorted off the stage, but you'll be happy to know that I didn't stop thrusting the entire time. I spot a leopard roaming my new home. I'm not about to be big-dicked by a Walmart lion, so I sneak up on the beast. I attempt to slay it like it was a domestic house cat and I was a Haitian. It turns out, contrary to popular belief, leopards excel in unarmed combat. It proceeds to brutally rip my face apart. This leopard will be my nemesis, and I will name it after my own pet cat, Fat Tony. Here's Fat Tony. Rockstar mug for scale. The transition from Biden to Kamala has been seamless. Biden can't string a political sentence together due to his dementia, and Kamala also can't string a political sentence together due to being a woman. I proceed to get rammed by a bush pig and fall all the way down the cliff. I get to my feet and jump right back up. The Lion King taught me to trust bush pigs, but my ex taught me if you forget to reply to their texts because you're too busy playing Halo 3 with the boys, then they'll chop up your favorite hoodie. That was like 10 years ago, but I'm going to start trauma dumping on you guys from time to time because therapy's expensive and I'm saving for a house. I've never handled scary games well. In fact, I often shriek loudly. My neighbors once called the cops to report the murder of 6 high school girls, but it was just me home alone playing Among Us with the lights off. This game is so disrespectful to everything in the best kind of ways. You'll be streaking through the streets, attending seedy cemetery parties, torching civilians, performing insurance fraud, looking drippy, driving people around while they make sweet consensual love in your car while the paparazzi try and videotape it. The list just goes on forever. I actually got pickpocketed once when I was traveling in Europe, but it was by this hot Latvian lady. She pushed right up against me on the train, and I thought to myself, wow, I love you. I then hopped off the train and realized my wallet was gone. It was like I speed ran a relationship. I spot a blood in our neighborhood, which is unacceptable, and so I beat him up. He hobbles away, it's kind of sad, before eventually keeling over due to me gently brushing up against him. What is this, the English Premier League? If CJ walked through a white neighborhood right now, someone would probably try and adopt him. I run over to the gym and begin lifting weights. There's two guys boxing in the ring while a guy in a red hat screams encouragement. I hop into the ring and beat the shit out of one of the boxers, even stomping on his head. His opponent immediately submits while red hat guy keeps screaming for more violence. I was trying to think of some good boxing banter, but I couldn't think of a punchline. I truly don't see why women protested so much to work. I'd enjoy not working. I'd get the boys around for a Tupperware party, might put a load of washing on in the afternoon, and then I'd just open a bottle of Pinot and hit the Xannies and forget the kids are in the tub. Being a stay-at-home dad sounds pretty great. I might start protesting against men's rights. Many psychologists blame social media, but I think the leading cause of depression is people not watching my videos. Please steal a depressed kid's antidepressants and tell them to watch my content instead, as this really helps spread the good word of my channel. We make our way through the suburbs. I head inside a spacious 4-bed, 2-bath to do some looting, but instead I see little bro dropping game on Ellie. Young biracial love. My pants are getting tighter, I see some little puppy dogs. There are 3 things I truly hate in this world. People who let themselves get so dehydrated they go to hospital, immigrants who are guilty of first-degree murder, and of course man buns. I don't so much mind when the hair is all really long, but those little tiny man buns make me want to vomit like I was bulimic. KSI runs for the beach and into the water. He dives into the ocean and begins breaststroking his way to a better future. There's truly nothing as inspiring as a black man swimming. He might make it back to England, or he might die at sea. At least if he drowns, his corpse will float, and a family of 16 who are also stranded can use his forehead as a life raft. We find the guy we're here to capture, and he tries to kill me, which is a bit of a red flag. Another convoy arrives, so we'll have to sneak past lots of enemies, so we give the guy who just tried to kill me a gun and ask him nicely not to betray us. That's like asking a hooker if you hit roll, will you catch anything? They always say no, but 3 weeks later it's that scene from Lord of the Rings where Smeagle jumps into the fiery pits of Mordor every time you take a leak. I load into my 4-year-old game file and I immediately notice that younger me installed mods to make the protagonist have a great ass. I make the brave decision to play the entire playthrough in 3rd person for related reasons. I then make an even braver decision to drink radiated water. I'm not going to let nuclear contamination stop me from sipping on God's sweet precious nectar. My charms professor was so impressed with my balls, he asked to see me after class for extracurriculum credit. He teaches me a repairing skill called reparo, which just sounds like Aussie slang, and my task is to go around fixing things. This isn't extracurriculum, I'm just the janitor now. This is child labour, which I actually support. These guards have the situational awareness of a female driver. Nah, that was some low-hanging fruit. My girlfriend is definitely a better driver than me. I've crashed 3 cars. Twice because I was texting and once because I was checking my Clash of Clans base. My mates call me the Dow Jones because I'm crashing daily. I head over to an internet cafe because this game was set in a period before phones could access the World Wide Web. Back in my day when I was a young lad, we had a shared computer in the living space. Do you know how hard it is to jack off with your family in the room? Pretty difficult, but not impossible. I was a proud virgin, waiting for the right woman. This girl in the grade above me, who was quite a bit more promiscuous than me, wanted a piece of my fine ass, but I wasn't ready to catch herpes. So one day I'm playing indoor soccer and her mates pull me aside and are like, yo, Allison really likes you, do you like her? I was like, nah, not really, she's had more fingers inside her than David Attenborough's passport. At that moment, Allison steps around the corner in tears. I felt about 2 feet tall, I felt so bad. I chase after her and she sits under this tree sobbing. I put my arm around her and I'm like, look, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have said that. After a bit, she ambushes me, just like the SWAT team did with a, do you want to go out with me? Of course I had to say yes, what was a young lad to do? So I spend the next week or so trying to avoid being left alone with her as I didn't want to lose my V card to this lass. She kept pashing me at lunchtime. In hindsight, it seems like a good problem to have, but I was genuinely scared. I even skipped my best friend's party as I was certain that's when she'd strike. She was like a lioness on heat, and I was just a feeble little RuneScape player who wanted his first time to be special. She eventually broke up with me due to lack of intimacy on the same day I hit level 99 magic on RuneScape. It was a great day. We return to the Gentleman's Club, and I present to you truly one of the most questionable segments I've ever uploaded to YouTube. Yo, straight up, what are we doing with our lives, Fitz? I'm just gonna check in on my homie. Sorry, it's just a second, Hope.
No, you're fine.
Is everything okay?
It's awful.
Oh, what's wrong?
It's awful. I feel so sad. What am I doing here?
You're making great life decisions. Hey, man. I head into a suburban garage and see children's drawings on the wall. Why couldn't the Russians have bombed this house? These drawings are a war crime of art. So I spawn in and Arthur is drinking water from a stream. You just can't hate this guy.